And one of the flaws with a lot of business political communication is that the emphasis always starts, when we're planning our messaging, with the logic. And this is simply not the way that the brain processes anything. The brain doesn't start with the logic. The brain starts with the instinctive brain. And so it's flipping things round so that if you come in that way, it's just you're going against the grain of the way that people receive information. You want to go with the grain. So you want to start with the instinctive and work up from there. And so what you can do, if you want to do it in a really contrived way, then you can develop like kind of communication ladders. You know, one example that I think is quite nice is an example that Nick Clegg was using during the 2010 leadership debates, which everyone kind of thought that he won, where he was doing empathy, values, balance. And so every single question, like if he had a question and someone was like, my wife's been waiting 2 years now for a hip operation, then he'd go, I understand you're angry. We all want the NHS to do better. And that's why we've said we'll not just match Labour's spending, we'll increase it by 5%. And it's just turning it round. So you start with where the audience are and in an elegant little motion, kind of swerve them round to where you want to be. Or there are plenty of other techniques. You might go with something, you know, like a joke, a story, and then your rule of three soundbite, which is a way many speakers will begin a speech, which, you know, the joke will deal with the instinctive thing, laughter, release, yes, good person, we're on the same side. The story will win over the emotional connection, and the rule of three will win to the logical. But one of the things that you can also do is develop even a far more sophisticated communications model. And this is one which features in the book. And I was quite excited about this, because what we have here is you start off with 3 breathless sentences. And I have examples of this in the book. So like broken homes, failing schools, sink estates, like that, grabs attention at the beginning. Then you repeat the opening clause of 3 successive sentences. So you're like, we've got to change the way that we do this. We've got to change the way we do that. We've got to change the way we do the other. And then at this point here, it's about looking to the future, not the past. It's about thinking about what we can do, not what we can't. It's about working together, not against one another. And then you go down, have a metaphor, and the metaphor might be something like, you know, I want Britain to stand tall in the world again. And I will not sleep until every child in our country has the same opportunity to succeed in life, regardless of whether they went to Eton or Harrow, you know? And then finally ending with a little soundbite. Now, I have this example in the book, and it's on page 31. And what's quite interesting is that David Cameron followed it to the letter after I'd written this. And so I just want to show you it, because it's a nice little illustration of how the techniques work in practice.
June the 6th, this summer, Normandy. I was so proud of Great Britain that day. And here today, I want to set out how, in this generation, we can build a country whose future we can all be proud of. How we can secure a better future for all. How we can build a Britain that everyone is proud to call home. The heirs to those who fought on the beaches of Normandy are those fighting in Afghanistan today. For 13 years, young men and women have been serving our country there. This year, the last of our combat troops come home. And I know that everyone here will want to show how grateful and how proud we are of everyone who's served. But the end of the Afghan mission does not mean the end of the threat. The threat is Islamist extremist terrorism, and it has found a new hellish crucible with ISIL in Iraq and Syria. These people, they are evil, pure and simple. They kill children, rape women, threaten non-believers with genocide, behead journalists and aid workers. Now, some people seem to think we can opt out of this. We can't. On a winter's morning, raising their children as well as they can, working as hard as they can, doing it for a better future, to make a good life for them and their families. That is the British spirit. It's there in our ordinary days as well as in our finest hours. This is a great country, and we can be greater still, because history is not written for us, but by us in the decisions that we make today. And that starts next May. So Britain, what's it going to be? I say let's not go back to square one. Let us finish what we have begun. Let us build a Britain we are proud to call home, for you, for your family, for everyone.